Alright, what's up, y'all? So I had to voice over this one because yeah, me and my neighbor, we was talking. I assure y'all, you don't want to hear our little conversation. But all you see me doing right here is taking the taking the poke salad that I had cleaned previously, and I'm putting it over in the pot. Now that water was not completely all the way up to a boil, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to go into boiling water. It just needs to go into water, and you can bring it up to a boil after you get all your poke salad in the water. Now let me say this. Please watch this video all the way through. Because this gonna be your cooking process. Don't play games and think you're gonna do something different or whatever. I do not recommend that you do anything different. This is what I did to it. This is what I do to it every time. The only difference is sometimes I cook it in the house, sometimes I cook it outside, but the steps are still the same. So this is how I recommend you cook it, and this is how I eat it. So I'm not telling you to do something that I myself would not eat. So what I did right here was I just kind of sped it up some so you can see the steam coming off of there. So the water is either boiling or it's getting ready to boil. Your poke salad will begin to wilt down. And once you get it to a rolling boil, that's when you want to kind of start your timer, okay? All this previous time when it's not boiling, we're not going to count that time. I put the top on it to make it come up to a boil a little faster. So like I said, when it comes to a rolling boil, when it's actually boiling, when you can see it bubbling, that means it's boiling. That's when you want to start your time. The first time that I boil it for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Now, some people boil it longer. Some people also boil it more times than I do. I want to throw this in here too. When you saw me picking the poke salad in the previous video, I want y'all to keep in mind I picked my poke before the stem turned real red. Now, some people pick their poke once that stem is red. I don't do it that way because that's not the way my granny did it. Can you eat it that way? Obviously so. I've seen lots of people eat it that way. However, they boil it more times than I do. I've heard of people boiling it all the way up to, Lord, I done got a peach and started eating. I forgot all about all that. Anyway, some people boil it up to 4, 5, 6 times. But a lot of the times when I see people boiling it that much, it's because the stem on the plant is almost all the way red or whatever. I get my poke when it's younger and more tender, therefore less of the phytotoxins that you're trying to actually cook out. Y'all see it boiling? Less of the phytotoxins are in the plant, therefore I don't have to do all that boiling. Now you can find other procedures on the internet of people boiling it. There's also a video where a man, he told you what he did wrong and the stuff made him sick, and he told you what happened. I think you should listen to stuff like that too, so you know what not to do. And I'll try to link that video for y'all so that you know what not to do. But you see it boiling there. You can leave the top on or off when you boil. It does not matter. I removed the top so that I could stir it. I wanted to make sure that all of the poke was up under that boiling water. And it may not look like it's up under the boiling water, but I assure you that poke is up under that water. So yeah, so this is, like I said, This is why some people are scared of poke, because it's not something that you can just take and just eat, unless you've been doing stuff like that. But if you've been doing that, you probably not watching my video. If your family one of them families that, you know, be talking about you can eat the poke raw and all this kind of stuff and it don't do nothing to you and babies can eat it and all this, you feel free to go ahead and take their advice. I don't play around like that. Because like I said, and I'm going to link the man video when he said what he did to that poke, he didn't do what he normally do. And that stuff made him sick, and he tells all what he went through. And I hate to say it, I was laughing, I was tickled. I'm probably going to hell in a handbasket with gasoline draws on, but I ain't gonna lie, I was tickled when he said what happened to him. I wasn't laughing at him per se, it's just the way he was describing what happened. And I can't even lie to you. I had to pause that video 2 or 3 times. I was tore up. So what you see right here now, you don't have to have a pot like this. I have a pot that has a strainer and a steamer and all that. This is like a 3 or 4 in 1 pot. It's a stock pot. And it's stainless steel. It don't matter what kind of pot you use. You just need something you can boil in. But this make it easy. You see how I can just lift it up. And you see how I let that water drip off. Now you see me taking the spoon and pressing. I'm pressing on it a little bit to get some more of the juice out of there. Now, you don't have to just press real hard. But you want to get as much of that liquid off as you can. You want to take that liquid out. Now, I did not show it here. And you also want to be careful, that's probably hot. I didn't show it here. I don't know if y'all can see the color of that water. You see the color of that water, how brown that water is? You want to take that and pull that off. Now that pot was heavy, was hot. I had to readjust myself. That's why I tell you be careful. Especially when you're cooking over open fire. Your handles and stuff that heat up on you. When this same pot is on the stove, them handles don't heat up like that. But that fire, it heat up everything. So what you see me taking that out. I'm pouring that water out. That water was boiling, so I just poured it on the ground. But if you wanted to, you could pour it in your compost or something like that. So it ain't gonna hurt nothing. Or you could water your plants with it. It won't hurt your stuff like that. But make sure it's not boiling. Make sure it's cooled off. But I'm pouring it out right then. It's boiling. I'm pouring it on the ground. So anyway, take your poke. I put water down in there. I didn't quite have enough water, and to save time on the video, I didn't show me putting more water in there, but I did. I put some more water in there, and you can see that poke has cooked down quite a bit, and you see me stirring it. You just want to have enough water so that your poke is covered. You don't have to have a gallon of water. You don't have to. You just make sure all your poke is covered with water. You want to bring it up to a boil a second time. The second time when I bring it up to a boil, I boil it for a minute, maybe a minute and a half. I don't go too far with it. I don't like my poke cooked to death. That's why sometimes when I see people harvesting it late in the season and the stems is all red and stuff, and they cooking that stuff 4 and 5 and 6 times, they're boiling it for a child. That stuff got to be mush when they get through with it. But more power to you. If you like mush, go right on ahead. That's your business. But like I said, the first time I boil it, once it reaches a rolling boil, start your timer. 3 minutes. Drain it. Pull your liquid off. Put some fresh water in there. Put your poke back in the fresh water. Bring it to a boil. Once it starts boiling, boil it for a minute and a half. Drain it again. That's what you see me doing right here. I'm going through the same process. You want to drain it again. Let all your water drain off. And I do press on it a little bit to make sure that I get, majority of that water. Like I said, you ain't got to press it to death. But I press on it just a little bit to make sure I get, vast majority of water out of there. This time, go around, I'm going to try to show you this water so you can see. That first batch of water was darker than this batch of water, but you're gonna see the color. Because I'm gonna show it to you. I forgot to show it to you the first time, but I think you can see it a little bit. You see me pressing. That's me pressing there, just trying to press a little bit more of that juice out. And that's hot as fire too. That's why you see me ain't holding on to it real tight. See there? And that fire was over there. It was hot over there. So like I said, be careful when you be cooking stuff. But you know, you have to. I ain't tough as my grandmama was. She could reach down in the fire and stuff didn't even burn her. She didn't even pay that no mind. Now you gonna see me move it over a little closer. See how I take that towel away? You see the color of that water? That's, you want to pour that off. You're going to pour this off too. You're going to pour both of your batches of your pot liquor off. You hear me? Don't use that. Like I said, you can water your plants with or something. Don't give it to your pets. Don't give it to, don't you drink it. Don't you cook with it. Don't you pour it off. So there you see me taking that off and pouring it off. You can see I got a little tasso ham now. So the way I'm going to cook this, y'all, right before I started this video, I harvested me some mustard greens and some more Swiss chard, and I washed it real good, okay? Look at me dropping my tasso ham on the ground. It will close, y'all, anyway. So that's what I'm going to cook with this poke. So I'm kind of making this poke mixed with some other greens. Now let me give you some other ideas if you don't want to mix it with your other greens. Well, first let me say this. The reason why I'm mixing it with these other greens is because this method here is the method to where if you got these people, well, if you've never had it before and maybe you say, oh, I don't know what it tastes like or whatever, mix it with some collard greens or some mustard greens or some turnip greens if those are things that you like, and have more of the mustard green, whichever greens you do. It don't matter if it's broccoli greens, cauliflower greens, your Brussels sprout leaves, any of that stuff, or you can eat any of that. Have more of that than the poke. When you put that all together, it's pretty much gonna taste like greens. You ain't gonna know that poke in there. The reason I do it like that is because that's the way my granny used to fix it for folks who always talking about, oh, it's gonna kill you and this, that, and other. And she knew the healing properties of it, and she still would sneak it over in people's food. Now she would tell me, because you know I would see granny out there picking that poke. I'm just gonna talk to y'all while I'm just cutting up this tasso ham. I ain't doing nothing. This, you see what I'm doing. But my granny, I would see her out there to her poke, and like I told y'all, her poke used to get 8 feet tall. It was way up over her head, and once it made the berries, she would let the birds eat the berries. So that was the way she invited birds into her garden, is because she had plenty of pokeberries for the birds to eat. So that's the way she was sneaking in people's food who she knew needed that stuff, and they needed some of the healing properties of this poke salad. My grandfather had a heart defect, and I sternly believe that a lot of the stuff that she grew and cooked and stuff actually kept him alive as long as he did live. I did not get to meet him, unfortunately. He still died before I was born, but still. The doctors had said long ago that he shouldn't have lasted as long as he did. And I think my granny and the different things that she grew and cooked and all that stuff, I think all of that led to him actually living longer than he was supposed to live. Because leave it up to my grandfather, let my family tell it, his eating habits, he would have just, my grandfather could eat fried chicken every day of the week if given the opportunity, but he didn't. This is an onion you see me cutting up over in here. I always cut up an onion over in my greens. That's just my prerogative. I also cut up garlic in my greens too. I don't know if I showed me cutting the garlic, but I just wanted to let you know this is just an onion, and I ain't cutting it no way special. This is the old school way, like people say you cut on your hand. You cut your stuff in this old school way of doing it. We ain't got no cutting board. I got a cutting board here. I wasn't bringing it outside. You just get your knife and just go with it. I ain't as good at it as my mama. I don't do it as much. I'm usually in the kitchen on a cutting board, but I get it done, and that knife is sharp as hell. I ain't got time to be cutting myself, bleeding over in the food. But anyway, if you sneak it in with other greens, that's a way to hide it. Another way to hide it is if you make omelets or eggs in the morning, you can make this poke. And let me say this, once you double boil that poke and you pour that liquor off, The poke is ready to go. You can cook it. You can either eat it like that, just straight like that. You can put it with something, like I said, mix it in your greens. Or you can put it with eggs. Like if you make like a scramble or an omelet or something like that. You know how you would use spinach or something in your eggs? You can do that poke the same way. You could saute it in a pan with some garlic and a little olive oil or whatever. You know, you can keep it real simple, season it how you want. Like I said, once you double boil it and pull your liquor off, that poke is ready to go. Okay, so you can use it however you see fit to use it. Like I said, it's very much like spinach. So once it's cooked, it kind of has the consistency of spinach. So you can kind of go with it like that. So that's just a little info on that. What you see me doing here is cutting up Swiss chard. And then you're going to see me put a turkey leg down in there. That is a smoked turkey leg. That turkey leg is not raw. That smoked turkey leg is for flavor. So is the tasso. The tasso is for flavor as well. And it's also just so I can have, you know, a little meat over in my stuff. Little meat. It's still going to be mostly greens, though. I know y'all think that turkey leg, ooh, that's a lot of meat. I'm only putting one turkey leg, but watch how much greens I cut up over in here. Because I really was over there harvesting my Swiss chard. I cut those stems. I cut the very bottom of the stems off. But the rest of the stem I cut up over in the green. To me, it adds just a little bit more texture to it. The stems are not, they don't have a crunch to them. But they do have some texture there. I don't like my greens completely mush. I think I done told people that before. These people cooking their greens for 6 days and stuff. More power to you. Make sure you drink your pot liquor though, because all of your nutrients is in the liquor. So, you know, get you some cornbread or something that you can drag through your pot liquor, because that's, you're going to need to drink your pot liquor, because that's where all the nutrients going to be when you cook this stuff for 6 days. Oh no, baby, you can't crunch that while I'm doing this video. You know, it's amazing. Even doing a voiceover, the animals manage to creep their way into the video. Uno has his toy and he is just decided to just go ahead on. He said, I'm talking. So he gonna go ahead on and just crunch that where you can hear it. You know, I hope that don't come through too loud on the stuff. Lord, I hate to have to do some more editing. But you just see how much greens I'm cutting up. I'm still cutting the stem. Still cutting it. And just take your time and just do. Cut your stuff to the size that you like it. You know, I see these people now, when they make collard greens, they julienne and a chiffonade in the collard greens. I mean, the stuff be cut. It be cut down real small. And that's cool. I don't really see no problem with that. Now, I don't know if I'll ever take time to cut mine down that small. But I guess that may would lessen the cooking time, now that I think about it. And then the smoke was getting in my eyes. Child, the wind was blowing the wrong direction. I had so much going on. But anyway. And I didn't show me really washing the greens, cause hell, y'all know how to wash your greens. I hope. If you don't know how to wash them, I'm sure it's a video on YouTube. Look here. I got tired of the knife, so I just started tearing and breaking the leaves up, and you can see the water coming off of them where I had washed them. But you see how full the pot is. You can't even see that turkey leg no more. But yeah, you don't have to cut your stuff. You can tear your greens. That works too. Some people don't want to do that. The child, it don't make me no difference. As long as it get in the pot, that's all I care about. Y'all can't see the bowl I'm reaching in right off the side of the camera. That's what I had them. After I washed them, I had them down in bowl, and then I had them covered up because I didn't want the flies to get on. But uno, sir, thank you. Lord have mercy. I have to get this dog together every few seconds. But like I said, I'll leave those stems and all that in there too. Also, I know a lot of people would probably be like, "Oh, I don't like no stems and this, that, and the other." I want to tell y'all that a lot of the nutrition, y'all, is in the stem. Just like when I was talking about earlier, I pick my poke before I let the stems get all red. This is what y'all need to understand. As a plant grows, it pulls everything from the roots up into the plant. So the leaves is the last part that it gets to. So the stems actually have more nutrition a lot of times than the leaves. So I mean, even if you have to cut your stems up a little smaller, leave a little stem. And I ain't saying leave the hard stem like a tree limb. I ain't saying that. Don't leave that in there. I got to tend this fire. The fire had went down some, and I had to, fool with these logs a little bit. But yeah, y'all, the stem does have a lot of nutrition. I know some people, I want every little piece of stem out, and that's every little piece of nutrition out too. So if y'all be careful about that. A little bit of stem ain't never hurt nobody. It don't hurt you to chew a little bit, a little bit. Or you could just cook your stuff to death, and the stem will be mushed too. Just however you like to do. So as you can see, the fire got kicked back up, and these greens gonna come to a boil. Now I have not added my poke to it yet, because y'all saw how much greens I had in the pot. It was kind of up high. I wanted to let these the greens and the Swiss chard kind of wilt down some before I put the poke in. But I could have went on and put the poke on in there, but I didn't do that. I wanted to give time for that to wilt down. I'm not worried about no flies getting on the poke sitting over there, because the seed ain't covered. It's still in that how I lifted it up out of there and it strained all the stuff off. It's still sitting there. When you buy this smoke like this, these flies won't come around this heat. It's so hot around that grill and stuff. Those flies won't come around there. They can't stand that heat. They can't fly through that heat and that smoke and stuff too. Bugs naturally stay away from smoke and fires and stuff like that, because they kind of know that that'll be the end of them if their little wings burn up. So once the greens wilted down, we come back here. You're gonna see me put the poke in here in just a second. I had some trash. I had to stuff the turkey leg and the tasso ham and stuff come in. If you can't find tasso ham, don't worry about that. You don't have to. Tasso ham is usually a Louisiana thing, but you can find it in Texas. You can find it in Louisiana. You probably find it in Mississippi too, Alabama. You probably can find it in Tennessee too. But if you don't have tasso ham, don't worry about it. Use whatever meat you like, whatever smoked, and if you don't want no meat, leave the meat out. You don't have to use meat. This is just the way I'm doing. Because I eat this as a whole meal. I don't cook no more meat on side of this and then eat. Like, I don't go fry no chicken or no fish or nothing and eat with it. I'm just going to eat this as a meal in itself. The meat in there and the greens. That's the way it's going to be. Okay? Now, I don't know where I done went off to. Oh, there I am. I come back. Now that these greens, I'm going to have to stir. And now I'm going to add my poke. Look at me. I'm trying to figure a way to do, because the spoon was hot. The pot was hot. All of it was hot, and I'm trying not to drop the food. So I put the poke down in there. Set that down. And then once I got that stirred up, I put the top back on. And then I pretty much, y'all, just let them suckers boil until they got to the doneness that I wanted, to the tenderness that I wanted. Now, as you can see, I done changed clothes. Now, this last little bit you see me doing is me taking the bones and stuff out of, y'all see Chris down there? I'm taking the bones and stuff out of this turkey leg, all the gristle and stuff. I let Chris get a little bit of the skin, the turkey skin. I ain't gonna lie, I tasted a few pieces of the turkey. But I get all this off of here because I'm not finna eat around all this gristle and tendons and all skin and all that. I don't want all that in there. I just want the meat in there. I don't want the bone in there. I ain't finna eat around none of that stuff. And you'll see me pick, pick all that out of there. And then after that, I tasted it. I didn't know I was in fast mode, so you won't get to hear what I'm saying, but you see me eating it here, and it was delicious. And I ended up giving my neighbor some, and I ended up eating on that for probably 2 or 3 days. But till next time, see you guys later.